Hi everyone, I'm Jonathan, here with Melly, and we're from Tucson Electric Power.
Hey everyone.
Does anyone know someone who works at TEP? Every time you turn on a light, charge your phone, or turn on some awesome air conditioning, that electricity was generated by TEP and flows across TEP's power lines to get to your home. Now we're keeping you all online during your remote learning adventure. Tell us some more about TEP, Melly.
Thanks, Jonathan. We both want you to know that TEP is serious about following the guidelines for social distancing. While you may think Jonathan and I are close together, we're actually far apart in separate locations. We hope you're staying safe at home and making a point to safely stay active, enjoying the cool mornings and gorgeous Tucson sunsets because it is getting pretty hot during the day. Please remember to wash your hands thoroughly and more often than usual. I know you're probably tired of singing happy birthday while washing, so find your favorite song or chorus that's at least 20 seconds long. Mix it up, but keep washing. Today, let's spend some time together to learn about renewable energy. Back to you, Jonathan.
Thanks. Like Melly said, we're here to learn more about renewable energy. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I love my smartphone. See, I've been using this even more during the extra time away from school. Now, let's take a look at some apps on my smartphone. And guess what? We've got these really cool solar panels here to charge my phone using the sun. I bet we can get all the renewable energy information we need just checking out some social media apps. It's amazing how there are so many awesome feeds and great web personalities to follow. One of my favorite on the subject of renewable energy is Renewable Students. Have you heard of them, Melly?
I sure have, Jonathan, and I've been following them for a while now. Everyone at home should check them out and follow on Instagram right now. Okay, everybody. Back to Jonathan's phone. So, we're here to talk about renewable energy. But before we can do that, we need to figure out, what is energy? Any ideas, Jonathan?
Well, isn't energy the power derived from the use of physical or chemical resources? And remember, the first law of thermodynamics says that the total energy is an isolated system is constant. It cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed. Do you all remember studying energy transformations? Like when making s'mores at a campfire, you have to burn wood to create heat, and you're transforming the stored potential chemical energy into heat or thermal energy. Or at home when you're using a fan, electrical energy is transformed to mechanical energy. And when you turn on the lights, well, electrical energy is transforming into radiant energy. See, in our everyday lives, electricity is an extremely useful form of energy. So Melly, what kinds of physical or chemical resources does TEP use to generate all of this electricity?
Well, Jonathan, we utilize natural resources which can be classified as either non-renewable or renewable. Hey, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Catch! Nice. So non-renewable resources like the 1-pound pieces of coal that we're holding up, natural gas and oil and other fossil fuels took hundreds of millions of years to form. They're limited in quantity and will run out someday. Renewable resources like sunlight, wind, and water naturally renew themselves and can be used over and over. Why is there such a big push these days for using renewables, Jonathan?
Well, let's take a look on Instagram. You see, Melly, Earth's atmosphere naturally traps heat from the sun to make our planet habitable. When fossil fuels are burned, they generate electricity and they emit carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases into the air, which are then trapped by our atmosphere. See, this process is called the greenhouse effect. And as gases build up over years and years and years, the Earth's ecosystems are undergoing dramatic changes. Take a look at this neat graph about temperature change. Scientists here have been recording temperature data all over the world for over 100 years. On this graph, each colored bar represents the average yearly temperature change within different countries. Now here in the United States, you can see the change in degrees Celsius, and it's represented in these circles. Watch the temperature bars over 116 years.
Wow. Whoa, look at all those red bars. I can't quite tell what those numbers are, Jonathan.
Well, it's about a 2 degrees Celsius change, and that would be about 3.6 in Fahrenheit. Think of all the amount of data collection needed for this visual alone, Melly. But there is so much more data that points to one conclusion. Global climate change is real, and it's happening right now all over the world. See, earlier you asked why there's such a big push for renewables, and I think this is why, Melly.
Thanks, Jonathan. So, because of the seemingly small temperature rise, a lot is happening across the globe. Our weather patterns are changing, resulting in more extreme high and low temperatures across the planet. Watch this. Our polar ice caps are melting at an extremely fast rate. Over the last 40 years, we've lost about 3 million square kilometers of sea ice, which is almost 10 times the size of Arizona. And global sea levels are predicted to rise 1 to 2 meters in your lifetime, threatening over 1 billion people who live in coastal communities around the world. Average temperature changes are also increasing. Have you noticed that our summers have been hotter and our winters more mild here in Tucson? And much of the Southwest is currently experiencing a severe drought. As our forested areas become hotter and drier, wildfire seasons in the United States continues to grow with more frequent and intense fires threatening communities across the western United States. There's also an increase in severe tropical storms like hurricanes, with increased flooding, which affects millions of people each year. Remember, everyone, humans help to cause these problems, so it's up to us to help solve them.
Oh, cool. It's one of those apps that sends trivia questions randomly during the day. Melly, do you have one of these apps on your phone?
No, I don't, but I'd sure like to give it a try.
Awesome. I love trivia and games. And apps like this make sure that I get a break in the day and have some fun. Now, anybody at home want to play along? Be ready. Some of these questions can be on a timer. Melly, see how many you can get right. And I promise I won't tell the boss if you miss one, okay? Question number 1. Which of the following are considered renewable natural resources? 5 seconds. What do you think, Melly?
Well, sun, wind, and water were in the presentation earlier. It's got to be D, all of the above.
That's right. All of them. Yeah, perfect. Next question. Okay. What gas is emitted when burning fossil fuels that intensifies the greenhouse effect? 5 seconds. Ready?
You mentioned this earlier, Jonathan. It's got to be carbon dioxide.
Yeah, that's right. Carbon dioxide is correct. 2 for 2. Good job, Melly. Now let's keep playing. Okay, next question. What is a good example of a chemical to thermal energy transformation? 10 seconds for this question. Read through it carefully and go.
Well, I think thermal is a key word here. No heat in the fan blade, just movement or mechanical energy. So it's got to be C.
Yep. The stored chemical energy from the wood becomes heat or thermal energy when it's burned. Good game, Melly. Now, let's get back to renewables in Snapchat video. Now, about the history of solar energy. But first, in case you're just joining us, I'm Jonathan here with my coworker Melly from TEP. We are really glad to have you with us to explore renewable energy. Now, let's watch this video.
Hey, it's Aaliyah again. Time for your Renewable Students' quick history of solar energy. Everybody ready? For thousands of years, all around the world, people have relied on the power of the sun. As far back as 4000 BC, the ancient Egyptians have used the warmth of the sun to dry mud bricks. The Romans even started using glass to trap heat in a room. Sorry, heat, you're mine now. Oh yeah, and ancient peoples discovered that mirrors were for way more than just taking some glam selfies. The Greek mathematician Archimedes allegedly used hundreds of mirrors to ignite and sink the attacking Roman ships in the Second Punic War. The ancient Puebloan people of Mesa Verde in modern-day Colorado built enormous cliff dwellings using a passive solar design to provide shelter from the intensity of the summer sun, while allowing the low-angled winter sun to warm them. Fast forward a few thousand years to 1839 France. Alexandre Edmond Becquerel, Becky Q for short, discovered that the photons in sunlight can activate electrons and cause them to flow in a directional current. This is called photovoltaics, or the PV effect. And remember that, it will be on your test. Next stop, 1954, New Jersey. Bell Labs built the first silicon solar cell. These early solar panels didn't produce a lot of energy, but they're like the grandparents of today's solar panels. Then a few years later, when the space program blasted off, solar panels got their flying stripes. Newsflash, guys, PV is perfect for space, where there aren't any places to charge. Oh, and I forgot to mention, without the sun, we'd have no food, no plants, no animals, and no life. Basically, the Earth would be like your parents' boring Facebook page. Today, scientists and engineers are employed by utilities to improve solar panel technology in an effort to provide more and more of our electricity from the sun. Shine on, solar energy.
Phew, that was a lot of bright facts to absorb. Am I right, Jonathan?
Good one, Melly. Let's go full screen. So, we've used the sun's energy since the beginning of time, and the latest and greatest solar technology is photovoltaic panels, or PV. However, electricity can be generated from solar energy in two different ways: photovoltaics and concentrated solar thermal. Tell us about CST, Melly.
So, concentrated solar thermal, or CST, uses hundreds of reflective mirrors to concentrate the sun's energy around a tower, using it to heat a thermal mass. The hot mass is then used to create steam to drive a turbine that generates electrical power. Due to their added cost and complexity, concentrated solar thermal isn't as common as photovoltaics. Where have you seen PV panels around town, Jonathan?
Well, I saw them in a few parking lots and on some houses on my way to work this morning. But does anyone know how photovoltaic or PV panels work? Yeah, how they convert sunshine into electricity. Let's check in with some Renewable students to learn more.
Hey everybody, it's time for Renewable Student Science Minute. Science is good, science is the best, science makes you smarter than all the rest. Yeah, science. Oh, hey everybody, Aaliyah with Renewable Students. And we're here at a U of A Photovoltaic Research Lab, one of the leading solar panel research facilities in the Southwest, to get some answers to your top questions. So Dr. Potter, one question I hear all the time is, how exactly do solar panels work?
Well, that's a great question, Aaliyah. PV cells are made by putting together a layer of a material that contains atoms that can give up electrons and a layer of material that has atoms that can accept electrons. When the two layers are put in contact with one another, the electrons flow from one layer into the other, and this sets us a difference in charge between the two layers, with the layer that gave up the electrons becoming positively charged and the layer that accepted the electrons becoming negatively charged. Next, when the PV is exposed to sunlight, more electrons in the material absorb the sun's photons, and now the existing charge difference between the two layers pushes these electrons, these excited electrons, through the device to wires where those electrons flow as current.
Isn't the science of solar amazing? Thank you so much, Dr. Potter.
You're so welcome.
You can't respond to DMs with this thing on.
Wow, that was cool. Thanks, Aaliyah. Now, while solar energy can be considered a free energy source, There are costs for producing, installing, and maintaining PV systems, but since solar is a renewable energy, it will never be used up and PV systems can run for 20 to 30 years. Now, here's a solar radiation map of the United States. Darker colors means more radiation measured in kilowatts hour per square meter. Wow, that is a mouthful. Now, we average over 280 days of sunshine here in southern Arizona each year. I mean, when was the last time that we had a cloudy day? The Southwest is a prime location for PV. So, Melly, how does solar panel affect our environment?
Great question, Jonathan. Well, there are pros and cons to everything. Natural resources including silicon, silver, and sand to make glass have to be mined from the earth. To manufacture PV cells, some hazardous chemicals and compounds are used, and the process requires a lot of fresh water. However, making PV panels does produce many high-paying jobs for the economy. Although some pollution is generated in the manufacturing of PV cells, solar installations provide clean, renewable energy for decades with little to no further environmental effects and minimal maintenance. We at TEP are committed to solar energy and have a large number of solar arrays around southern Arizona. But more on that later.
Ooh, more trivia! Hey, can I play this time, Melly?
Yeah. But remember, Jonathan, I was 3 for 3 in round 1, so see if you can match that. Is everyone at home ready to play along too? Here's our first question. What scientific principle did Becky Q discover in 1839?
Well, I only remember hearing about B&D today, so I have to go with photovoltaics. B.
The PV effect. Nice, Jonathan. All right, question number 2, put 10 seconds on the clock. What are the 2 main types of solar energy technology?
Well, you told us about CST and the Science Minute video was on PV. So C is my final answer.
PV and concentrated solar thermal are correct. Last question of round 2. What particle inside of solar panels do photons knock loose to generate a directional flow of electricity? You got this, Jonathan.
I'm gonna use my word knowledge here, Melly. I see a connection between electrons and electricity. B is my final answer.
You got it, Jonathan. 3 for 3, we're tied. High five. Great. So let's catch the breeze and fly on back to Snapchat for a quick recap of wind energy.
Hey again, let's breeze through Renewable Students' quick history of wind energy. Let's cast off. The history of wind. There has always been wind.
Well, actually, Aaliyah, prior to the formation of a gaseous atmosphere, there was no wind.
In any event, for thousands of years, people have recognized the power of wind. One of the first known uses was for winnowing grains, leading to the invention of bread, which was basically like the best thing until, sliced bread. The ancient Egyptians used wind to power their sailboats along the Nile River. In the 7th century, the Persians invented the windmill. These vertical shaft windmills were used to pump water for irrigation and grind grains. And seriously, some of them are still working, over 1,000 years later. Was he there too? During the Middle Ages, windmills blew across Europe. The design improved using horizontal shafts so that all the blades caught the wind at once. These windmills allowed for much yodeling throughout the land. Yodeling. Guys, what's cooler than one windmill? A double windmill? In 1745, English inventor Edmund Lee added a mini windmill or a fantail to the back, so the windmill would automatically turn into the wind, allowing for more time spent on tea breaks. Windmill technology was brought to the United States by Danish, French, and Dutch immigrants. In Ohio, Charles F. Brush created the first windmill that generated electricity, just enough to power the lights in his mansion. And let me tell you, when you are one of the only people in the world with electricity, your parties are pretty lit. Oh, and by the way, before clothes dryers, everyone's clothes were dried by the wind. Today, wind turbine technology continues to improve, giving us a charge up on those summer breezes.
Melly, you are all about those puns today. Let's check this out on a landscape. Much better for videos on a phone. So, wind is a form of motion or kinetic energy. But how does a wind turbine generate electricity? Wind turbines typically have 3 blades that catch the kinetic energy of the wind and transfer it to mechanical energy. Inside these turbines, there are gears that spin and power a generator, which creates the electromagnetic effect. Now back to the law of conservation of energy, all that wind power is transformed in order to get the electricity we all need and use. Now, wind power is a clean and renewable natural resource. Generating electricity with wind power produces no air pollution, unlike limited non-renewable energies such as fossil fuels. Wind energy will always be available. Now, time for another Renewable Students Science Minute, this time on wind power.
Hey everybody, it's time for Renewable Student Science Minute. Science is good, science is the best, science makes you smarter than all the rest. Yeah, science. Hey everybody, Aaliyah with Renewable Students, and we're here at TEP's massive Red Horse Solar and Wind Farm near Willcox, Arizona. And we're here to answer the question, how do we know where to put these windmills anyway? These towers are 210 feet tall, so you kind of want to make sure that you're choosing the right spot. To do this, scientists need to test wind speed over time and all over to find the best locations. See how this pinwheel spins in the wind? Well, it's just like that, except they use much fancier computerized devices called anemometers, just like this one. Wind farms just like this one are providing some of the electricity right now for your schools, homes, and businesses throughout Tucson.
So Melly, how does wind power affect our environment?
Well, modern wind turbines produce a small amount of aerodynamic noise, like the whooshing sound you can hear. But the farther you are from a wind turbine, the less noise you hear. Every year, some birds are injured or killed by wind turbines. Scientists are studying the migration patterns of birds, and engineers are testing less harmful blade designs to reduce this negative impact. Wind farms need a lot of space because the blades are so big. However, the amount of actual land occupied is very small, so the rest of the land beneath the turbine is available for other uses, such as farming and grazing. It is also important to consider how the installation of turbines will affect the scenery. Ooh, trivia! Round 3. So let's get back to portrait for this game, and it's my turn now, Jonathan.
Okay, question number 1. What scientific instrument is used to measure wind speed at a specific location? 5 seconds.
I remember Aaliyah saying, was it anemometer? A.
An anemometer is correct. Perfect. Now, question number 2. This one is a 10-second question. What type of energy is captured from a wind turbine and is transformed into electricity? What do you think?
Wind energy, not heat or light, so B or C. And it can't be elastic like a rubber band, so I'm gonna go with C.
Kinetic or motion energy. Nice work, Melly. Now, last question for the round 3. And this one's a 5-second one. How can humans harness energy from the wind? Remember Snapchat.
I think it's gonna be all of the above.
3 for 3 again. Now we are rocking trivia today. Now in case you're just joining in, I'm Jonathan here with my co-worker Melly from Tucson Electric Power. we're really glad to have you with us to explore renewable energy.
Yeah, go us! I got another pun for you, Jonathan. Let's dive into a renewable student's history of hydropower.
Hey everybody, let's take the plunge into Renewable Students' quick history of hydropower. Grab your towel and let's dive in. The ancient Romans understood the usefulness of water's potential and kinetic energies, and were among the first people to build dams for water collection. They also used water wheels so the falling water could do work such as grinding grain, sawing timber, or watering crops, which allowed them more time for gladiator fights. The ancient Chinese also developed very advanced uses for water wheels. In addition to grinding grain, they used water wheels to run trip hammers to crush ore, remove the hull from rice, and operate bellows for casting iron. Now, doesn't that just seem like they're showing off with those spinning top houses? The Hohokam people, who lived in Arizona for thousands of years, built over 500 miles of irrigation canals to channel water from the Salt and Gila rivers. This allowed their crops of cotton, maize, beans, squash, and agave to flourish. Today, some of the same canal routes are used to bring water to the Phoenix metro area. Jump ahead to Wisconsin, 1882, and the world's first hydroelectric power plant was built at the Vulcan Street Power Plant. Live long and prosper. By using the kinetic energy of falling water to spin a turbine to power a generator, electricity is produced. Voila! Pesto. Yes, I did.
Take two.
By using the kinetic energy of falling water to spin a turbine to power a generator, electricity is produced. Voila! Presto. Good thing their parents never told them not to play with electricity and water. A few years later, the technology was improved and a large-scale hydroelectric plant was built at Niagara Falls in New York. This plant generated enough electricity to power 600 homes. Today, here in Arizona, we've got a number of large dams: Hoover, Roosevelt, and Glen Canyon. Together, they provide electricity for our cities, as well as store water for millions of people living in our state.
Lots of hydro history. Okay, back to landscape mode for YouTube. So, how do dams create electricity? Well, the water is trapped in a reservoir behind the dam and then channeled down to spin the turbines located within the dam structure. Now, these turbines are connected to a generator which will produce what?
Ooh, Jonathan, it's electricity. But did you know that hydropower accounts almost half of all renewable energy production in Arizona each year, and it's about 3 times more efficient to generate electricity using water than using fossil fuels? Wow. But how does hydropower affect our environment, Jonathan?
Well, Melly, the creation of reservoirs can flood archaeological sites, such as the Anasazi cliff dwellings in Glen Canyon. And dams can also change migration patterns of fish. However, reservoirs can also create recreational opportunities, like those at Lake Powell. Now, Melly, did you know that 90% of all the dams in our country are storing water without generating any electricity?
97%? I can't believe it. If we could equip these larger dams with improved turbines and generators, trillions of kilowatts of electricity could be generated to power millions of homes. Say, take a look at the size of this dam in China. It's estimated that by 2030, hydroelectric dams could generate at least 15% of the world's electricity needs, all from the clean and renewable source of water.
Wow, all of that electricity from water. Pretty cool. Now, aside from the big 3 of solar, wind, and hydro, there are other less commonly known forms of renewable energy. Tidal energy is a form of hydropower that uses the energy of tides to spin underwater turbines and generate electricity. Cool technology, but we can't use that here in Tucson. Now, geothermal power uses the thermal energy radiating up from the Earth's molten core. This heat can be used to create steam and, you guessed it, spin a turbine and generate electricity. Now, biomass or biofuels give us the ability to recycle our waste to produce electricity. At some power plants, methane gas from landfills can be used to generate electrical energy. Oh, it looks like it's time for round 4 of Renewable Students Trivia. Your turn to read the questions, Melly.
Sounds good, Jonathan. Here we go, everyone. Question number 1, 10 seconds here. Water in a dam's reservoir has what kind of energy?
Well, it says in the dam, so it's got to be C because it's waiting to be used. Yeah. Final answer, C.
Yeah, potential energy. It has yet to be utilized. Good job. Thought that would be a trick question, but give you another one. Question 2 is related to question 1. Water spinning a dam's turbine has what kind of energy? Think about the last one.
Okay, well, you're trying to trick me again. The spinning is kinetic. So B, final answer.
Kinetic or motion energy. It's moving inside the dam. Nice one. Question 3 is true or false. Landfill waste can create biomass energy. Yes or no?
Well, I know we can use other gases in power plants to help generate electricity. So I'd say true.
Yeah. Methane gas can be used to help spin a turbine and generate electricity. For years, TEP used methane gas from our landfill to generate electricity. Great job on that round, Jonathan. So, we've got a number of renewable and non-renewable sources of energy. But how did your house get the power this morning? Right, there are power poles, distribution lines, and substations all over Tucson. To be ready for our customers, we at TEP must be sure that a certain amount of electricity is always flowing. Let's check out this Insta story. Here's a chart of energy usage over a normal Tucson day in the wintertime. The left side shows the amount of energy being used in megawatts, which is the same as 1 million watts. The blue represents our total energy needs, and the green is the energy we get from our renewable sources. So as we can see here, around 6 a.m., the city starts to wake up and people start turning on devices and using more energy, so more blue. Our energy consumption peaks in the morning as everyone's getting ready for the day with their heaters on and as schools and businesses open up. You can see another peak in the evening when most people are getting home and electrical devices like heaters, washers, and dryers, lights, TVs, and more are being turned on. We call these spikes in power peak demand. In the summer, it's around 3 to 7 p.m., and in the winter, it's from 6 to 9 a.m. and 6 to 9 p.m. Now, what about our renewables, Jonathan?
Well, they seem to produce the most electricity between those peaks. Mainly during the daylight hours, our wind and solar are producing. But what about cloudy days or days with little wind? The real-time availability of our renewable energy sources is much different than our non-renewables like coal and natural gas that we can burn on demand. Solar panels are an excellent source of renewable energy. However, their energy production varies throughout the day, and we aren't in control of the sunshine, aren't we? Now, the planning and the organization needed to supply electricity to all of our customers using renewable resources is vastly different and more complex than using non-renewables, which we can control and burn on demand. And for more on that, let's check another Science Minute on YouTube.
Hey everybody, it's time for Renewable Students Science Minute. Science is good, science is the best, science makes you smarter than all the rest. Yeah, science. Hey guys, Aaliyah here with Renewable Students, and we're at the Irvington Natural Gas Power Plant right here in Tucson. Let's take a look at how all this electricity gets distributed to our homes and our schools. I'm here with Jennifer from TEP. So, how does TEP manage electricity generation to be sure enough power is always flowing?
Great question, Aaliyah. From control rooms like this, TEP is able to monitor the energy needs and load of the entire city and work in real time to ramp up or down electricity generation. This way, when clouds block out the sun and energy output from solar panels falls, we can respond instantly and keep the lights on.
So as the temp goes up and the sun comes out more, the solar energy increases and we start decreasing load here at the power plant. So we drop our load from 50 megawatts down to our low load 25 megawatts at about a ramp rate of 4 megawatts a minute. It takes about 7.5 minutes.
Wow, thank you so much, Jennifer.
Wow, Leah, cool stuff. And in case you're just joining in, I'm Melly, here with Jonathan from Tucson Electric Power. Thanks for watching to learn more about renewable energy. To keep up with the energy needs all over Tucson, TEP relies on a variety of power sources, both renewable and non-renewable. We need to be sure that when the sun isn't shining and the wind isn't blowing, the power stays on. We at TEP are committed to getting more and more of our energy from renewable sources. In fact, we currently utilize over a dozen large-scale solar plants and several wind farms throughout the Southwest, and have plans to double the wind and solar output in the next year. Pretty exciting, right, Jonathan?
Sure is. And you can track our renewable progress. Online, we've got the super cool real-time renewable energy dashboard where you can see all of our renewable sites and see their energy output in real time. Renewables are used every day by TEP to provide electricity to hundreds of thousands of homes. TEP has devoted considerable planning and resources to utilize many large-scale solar arrays in Tucson, southern Arizona, and even in the White Mountains near Pine Top. You can view the real-time energy production when you scroll down. Every year, we're continuing to bring more and more renewable energy power plants online. Where are we now with renewable energy production, Melly?
Currently, we get around 13% of our energy from renewable sources. With a current goal of being 28% renewable by 2021, that's more than doubling our renewable output by next year. In fact, that's enough equivalent renewable energy to power all of the homes in Tucson. Super cool. And maintaining these giant energy renewable sites requires a lot of very specialized workers. That's right, it takes a lot of sheep. Tell us about it, Leah. Let's watch. Looks like the Wi-Fi is slow, but we're ready.
Hey everybody, it's time for Renewable Student Science Minute. Science is good, science is the best, science makes you smarter than all the rest. Yeah, science. Hey guys, Aaliyah with Renewable Students, and I'm here south of Tucson at the Red Horse Solar and Wind Farm, and it is absolutely massive. I mean, just look at this place. There are over 250,000 PV panels. Together, this provides power for homes all throughout Tucson. And guess what else is crucial to maintaining this renewable energy site? Sheep. TEP hired over 400 sheep to work full-time around the clock, grazing over 1,600 acres, keeping the grass height down. And the sheep get to enjoy the luscious shade under the panels. Not a bad job to have if you ask me. Great work, sheep.
Sheep?
Who would have thought that they were an important part of solar energy? But you know, it's not just about the big solar arrays. We at TEP are invested in community solar initiatives, such as the Go Solar Shares program, where your family can choose to buy electricity from local small-scale solar systems, right from the TEP app. In fact, if your school or house has solar panels on it, during certain times of the day, the panels could be producing more power than you're using. The extra power from the PV panels flows into the power grid and then flows to neighboring homes and businesses. There's a lot more information for your parents about this and other renewable investment opportunities at TEP.com or in the TEP app. Now, do you have the TEP app on your phone, Melly?
I sure do, Jonathan. Tucson Electric Power is also partnering with the University of Arizona to test and develop the renewable energy technology of tomorrow. At the U of A Tech Park, scientists, researchers, and engineers are working to both increase the efficiency of PV systems and develop other really cool renewables technology. We at TEP are really charged up about a cool emerging technology, large energy storage systems that get their charge from excess renewable energy during the day. Energy storage systems can help us use fewer non-renewables during peak demand and when the production of renewables fades with the setting sun. Did you know renewable energy can be stored in water, Jonathan?
Yeah, I just read an article about this. Pumped hydro storage, or PHS. It's a super promising storage system that TEP is exploring. Now, during the day, renewable sources like solar and wind provide electricity to pumps that move water uphill from one reservoir to another. When the renewables drop off, like at night or when it's cloudy, the water is channeled downhill to spin turbines connected to a generator to produce electricity. Then, the same water can be reused the next day again and again.
Say, Jonathan, I think I read the same article too. And it showed that the same idea can be used with air. During the day, compressed air is pumped into mine shafts and then is released when the sun goes down or when more energy is needed during peak demand. Imagine inflating a balloon and then holding the stem until you want to release all that potential energy.
Pretty funny, eh, Melly? Well, it's the same concept here, just on a much larger scale. Now, humans really are some creative problem solvers. Now, let's get back to the home screen. So, we've got power plants, grids, storage systems, all this stuff related to our everyday electricity needs. A lot of time and energy and resources go into producing the electricity that we each use every day. And think about the storage of our renewables that we just talked about. It's complicated and expensive stuff.
Yeah, even right now, we're using energy to film our presentation, and your phones in your pockets are slowly draining and will need to be charged later. So what can you do to make sure that you use energy efficiently to save our precious natural resources?
Well, hey Melly, I just came across this really cool new product that could help our viewers at home. Maybe you've heard of it.
Are you tired of wasting energy? Then try Turn It Off. It's the easiest way to cut down on your electricity waste. To use Turn It Off, simply turn it off. Are you leaving a room? Then turn it off. Are you done watching TV? Go on, turn it off. Turn It Off is free, easy to use, and works on lights, ceiling fans, TVs, and computers. Have a credit card ready and call 1-800-TURN-IT-OFF. No purchase necessary, easy install, free shipping, batteries not included, action figures sold separately.
Turn it off! Oh, it looks like we have time for one last round of Renewable Students Trivia. I think I can handle a few more questions. You ready, Melly?
I'm ready, but you're reading this time, Jonathan, and let's see if I can get these correct.
All right. Question number 1, 10 seconds. TEP generates electricity from which renewable resource? Read through it carefully.
I think I got this. We have no tides around here in the desert, and the other choices have non-renewables. So it's B.
Yes, it's solar and wind. Question number 2, 10 seconds again. What is the best thing you can do to help conserve energy starting today? Read through it carefully. Ready?
Turn it off. A and B fit with that, and 78 is pretty reasonable when it's hot outside like today. So D.
Yep, all of the above. These are easy to do, and remember not to go below 78 with your AC. They use a lot of electricity. Final question of the day. By the year 2021, TEP's renewable energy resources will be equivalent to powering what in Tucson? 5 seconds.
This one's easy. I think I got this. It's all the homes. B.
All the homes is correct. That's a lot of renewable energy.
Wow, great job everybody. Thanks for playing Renewable Students Trivia. Keep thinking about this stuff. Your choices, your actions, and your plans for the future. They really matter. So remember, you can make a difference. The power is yours.
Thanks, Aaliyah. Jonathan, I've read that many of the scientific problems of tomorrow haven't been identified yet. Who will solve these problems? That's right, it's up to all of us. Students watching from home, as you begin to explore possible future career paths, there are many opportunities in science, mathematics, engineering, and other fields, all of which work on our grid and renewable energy technologies. But even if you're not interested in math or science, there are so many talents needed, like artists, designers, architects, planners, accountants, project managers, linemen, and so much more. There's some great internship opportunities here at TEP and in collaboration with the University of Arizona and Pima Community College. Check out our website, tep.com, or talk to your teacher or school counselor for more information on these opportunities.
Wow, Melly, we've covered a lot on the amazing history, current use, and possible future of our renewable energy resources. Sunlight, wind, water are the big three with renewables. Because these resources are renewable energy sources, they will always be here. Renewable energies powered our past, and with your help, TEP will lead the way towards a renewable future. Thanks for joining us today.
And let's stay connected. Follow Renewable Students on Instagram for more cool videos and posts about renewable energy. Bye, everyone.
Stay safe out there, everyone. Remember to wash your hands more frequently. Take care. Bye now.